What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Trophy Chasers Podcast, Episode 8. Today is March 13th, 2014. It's been a pretty slow week for news, so most of our news is just upcoming releases, stuff like that. We've got a lot to talk about as far as what we've been playing, so that'll be the bulk of the show. We're competing with Gordon Ramsay this time. In about an hour, the new episode of Hell's Kitchen comes out. So I gotta wrap this up. I gotta be able to watch that. All about Dark Souls. Yes, that's probably what the majority of the show will be. How you both doing today? Got DMC and Mike Guy with us as usual.
Hello, everybody. Doing well. Being consumed by the Dark Souls. That's about it.
Glad to have you guys here with us tonight, and just mostly been doing a little finish up and prepared for next week's big releases.
Next week's gonna be a big week. Xbox had their week this week with the Titan flop. I keep seeing that.
Definitely looking forward to some sales numbers coming out to whenever that gets released, because I'm really curious to see how well it did.
Yeah, I keep hearing.
I don't think it's going to really get its boost until it gets released. And by the way, when is it going to get released on the 360?
The 25th.
The 25th of this month? Okay.
Yep.
So we can safely expect another 1 million to 2 million sales.
Probably.
Just on the 360, if not more. So it's definitely going to sell. But to your point, my guy, how much did it really sell on the Xbox One?
Yeah,
that's the question.
I've been looking for numbers. I haven't found anything, so which is surprising because normally they have the numbers after the first 24 hours for the release date.
See, Flip, that was a drum roll, and you just hit the cymbal, because if it did what we expected, or at least what the hype almost projected that it would do, then Microsoft and Major Nielsen would be out there ringing the cowbell saying, hey, guess what, everybody? Titanfall just sold 1.5 million copies in the first day. Mm-hmm. And, didn't happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad game, though. I think it looks intriguing for people who are into that. It's not my style of game, so I'm not really into it. But
yeah, and it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I think I don't begrudge it. I'm really I love when games do well. What I don't like is this whole only on the Xbox or only through the cloud services is this possible. And of course, we're going to find out that that's a facade. But other than that, I really wish the developer respond the whole 9 yards. The best of luck on this title. And the big surprise is whether or not Microsoft is going to try to lock it up, or if it's going to end up migrating off to the rest of the consoles.
I was at GameStop last night, and some guy was trying to buy an Xbox One, and the sales clerk said, all right, we have this package right here. We get an Xbox One with Forza, or this package with Titanfall. And he went with the Forza package. I was shocked.
I was Tuesday, and I was at my local Walmart, and they had plenty of copies of Titanfall, plenty of Xbox Ones, and plenty of Xbox One Titanfall editions. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really expecting to see that, but it just kind of took me by surprise to see that there was still plenty left on the shelf if people wanted it.
Yeah. The achievement list for that looks pretty intense too. It looks like it's gonna be a pretty long grind, but anyway.
Well, my personal sales list is when I went into the Walmart early Tuesday morning to see if I can pick up a copy of the black case, the metal case edition of Dark Souls 2. There were 4 people in Walmart waiting at 7:30. 3 of them was all equally anticipating Dark Souls 2, and there was one person that wanted to pick up Titanfall. And I don't know if that's prophetic. Or
I'm sure most people would have release parties at GameStop or whatever. I don't think the majority of people would go to Walmart at a midnight release. That's like if you forget to pre-order the game and you're trying to get the collector's edition.
But you know what? You know what? That's exactly what I did. I didn't pre-order, but I wanted to get the best edition, so I went to Walmart and I was like, "Hey, can I get that version, and they gave it to me. So
Cool. Yeah, when I went to Walmart, they had like 20 of the Black Armor editions of Dark Souls 2, all in the case.
yep.
Anyway, we can get into. I didn't like the way we did the show last week. How we kind of switched things up and started with what we played and our thoughts on games. And I just it felt really disorganized and just felt like we were stumbling through the entire thing. So I'm going to stick to the tried and true format. We're going to start with the news. A very shocking story. I was shocked when I saw it, at least. PlayStation Home got trophies yesterday. So, a pretty simple list, no platinum. A lot of them, people are saying they get the majority of PlayStation Home trophies just from logging in because it's all retroactive. But we go through the list right now if you guys want to talk about it. I don't know if you guys are into this at all, but free trophies. So
Hey,
it doesn't hurt.
I used to play chess on PlayStation Home and walk around in my original Infamous outfit with the jacket and the side backpack, and that was about 2 years ago. So now I have a reason to go back.
The most I've ever done in PlayStation Home was the E3 event last year, where they gave you a bunch of free stuff. I think a Last of Us theme. There was a beta for Resistance, Killzone. I think it was
That's
Killzone.
right.
And some other random stuff along the way. So I messed around in the E3 booth a little bit, but that's the most I've ever played PlayStation Home. I wasn't excited to go back after I was done with that. It was kind of a chore.
I've never once logged into it and probably still won't.
Yeah.
What? What's wrong with you guys? I mean, it's nothing like dancing by various themes and waterfalls with other people, or shopping in the virtual mall to pick out a nice pair of sneakers that goes with your virtual jeans. I did it all, man. I think I've dumped over the life of Home, which I would expect that I'm the norm. I dumped probably about $20 to $30 in there on virtual furniture and items because I wanted to see how awesome this place would be. And you know what? At the end of all that, I realized that, I think I'd rather be playing my games. So,
sounds too much like Second Life, like one of those weird MMOs. Anyway, the trophy list. It's pretty basic. There's not a platinum. There's 1 gold. Looks like 3 silver. Let's go through the list real fast. Log into PlayStation Home. Gives you a copper or bronze trophy. Visit your apartments. Use 15 unique purchased or rewarded furniture items. Own 3 purchased or rewarded apartments is a silver. Everything else prior to that was a bronze. Own 15 purchased or rewarded clothing items, also bronze. Own 3 purchased or rewarded portable items. Own 15 purchased or rewarded furniture or active items. So basically it's just all getting items and using them. There's change each item of your clothing individually on a male or female avatar. Take a photo on 10 different days. So you actually have to log in 10 different days to do that. It gets worse if you don't like that one. You can't actually change the time on your console. You have to go in 10 separate days. Visit a friend's apartment. Visit 20 unique spaces. Perform 5 of the default dances. And visit PlayStation Home on 50 different days for the gold trophy. So
can I get the gold?
I don't know. You might have already gotten it. You might be able to log in and see that you spent 50 days playing chess.
I haven't. I think I've kicked 2 people's butts. I got my butt kicked one time, and then I got caught up playing some type of discus game. And now our one of our faithful listeners, Nitsu, is saying that he's a beast, and I'm a little scared now. But now that he's proclaimed to be a badass, we have to meet in Home, man, and talk about it next week. So I'm ready for some chess on Home.
Throw down the gauntlet.
That's right.
All right. The more exciting trophy list that got announced was the Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes trophy list. Also, unfortunately, no platinum, surprisingly. It does stack, though. You can play it on PS3 and PS4 and get twice the trophies, but there's only 15. I'm not going to go into specifics to avoid spoilers, but the majority of it's story stuff. Clear side up or extra op. So do a side mission, clear all the side missions, clear any mission with an S rank, clear all the missions with an S rank, beat a specific mission without killing an enemy. So your average trophy list for the most part. Unlock all the trials, obtain all the cassette tapes, obtain all XOF unit patches. So collectibles, and a completion. Basically, is all you're going after. There's no.
Yeah.
Looks like there's no difficulties or anything like crazy like that. So.
But here's the kicker, though, right? And so you always have to be wary of Kojima. And the question is, will he apply any tie-ins based on your trophy achievements for Ground Zero?
They've already talked about that. Yeah. There will be.
Did he? He will not.
There will.
Have you heard?
Yes.
There will be tie-ins. Okay, so
if you play this, it'll unlock. It said it'll give you. They didn't go into specifics, but you'll have a vast advantage very early in the game in Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain when that comes out.
Okay, so I'm eagerly anticipating what that's going to be, because if it's just simply here's some bonus equipment that you're going to have based on what you've accomplished and how well you accomplished it, or is there going to be, in addition to that, because you get all 15 trophies, we're going to give you this real, badass Metal Gear Solid clone, suit.
We're gonna let you play as Akiba.
Akiba. Well, I tell you what. Here's the kicker, though. If there isn't anything like that, then I'm just going to run through this thing, and I'm not going to sink the time into it to get all the S ranks. But yeah, knowing
it's like a true trophy chaser there. Well, I'm not going to do it. Your dedication's falling short.
I don't know about that. See, but where all the time is going to be applied is this crazy Dark Souls 2 and Infamous, and then of course the real Metal Gear game that's coming out. But we'll see.
Yeah. South by Southwest was last week or this week, a few days ago. They talked about they had a huge Titanfall event. There's actually a pretty big gaming presence there, which I didn't know that there was. I guess there was a video game awards show that was going on. All kinds of crazy stuff. So part of that they had, or Gearbox did Telltale did a Tales from the Borderlands panel. Talked about it pretty briefly. Basically, it'll be two protagonists telling like a dual story throughout the entire thing. It takes place after Borderlands 2. Still has the same choice options that you've come to get accustomed to in The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. But instead of having two choices at the end of the episode that you don't want to happen, like having to choose between this person dying or this person dying, they said there will be two desirable option choices. So it's pretty much all that we know about it. It should be it takes place in Pandora, just like all the other Borderlands games. Yeah, and it should have the same level of humor that we've known in Borderlands. So
cool.
Hopefully it's more than an hour and a half long. Yeah, two desirable option choices.
So we can play the game and not have to stress out about killing our dog. So that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
If I make the wrong choice.
Aside from that, that's pretty much all the news that we have. The rest of it's just announced dates and delays and upcoming release dates. The Witcher 3 gets delayed until February 2015. It's not hitting this year.
Oh boy, so the amount of disappointment that I feel about that is tremendous. I don't think there is a game that I'm looking forward to more than The Witcher 3. The Witcher 2 was such a fantastic RPG for me. Matter of fact, out of all the RPGs that I played last gen, there was only really 3 that stood out for me. Dragon Age Origins, Witcher 2, and then of course Arisen. That was just a beautiful game. So
and Ni no Kuni.
Now I got to wait a whole another year.
You forgot about Ni no Kuni. I know you loved that.
What's that now?
Ni no Kuni. You loved that one.
You
said there one. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, Ni no
like
Kuni.
The best one.
Okay, so how can I categorize that? You're right. You're absolutely right. You caught me in a little conundrum here. However, that's a whimsical. See, I'm stuck. I can't lie myself out of this. Not that I'm trying to lie, but you know what? I guess what I did in my head was I separated real RPGs. That's gritty. That's life, death, blood, and then Ni no Kuni was just happiness. I could play that and go to sleep and dream of unicorns. Ni no
Kuni is a real RPG, though.
It is. No, but here's the difference. I play Ni no Kuni till 3 o'clock in the morning. I go to sleep, and I have Skittles in my pond, and I wake up with butterfly trees. I play, freaking Dark Souls or Witcher 2, and I'm waking up screaming and sweating in the middle of the night. So
I had some weird Dark Souls streams last night.
two different RPGs, huh?
I had some weird Dark Souls streams last night. I don't even remember enough to describe it, but I remember it was very, very weird. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, man.
There's also an upcoming RPG you might be into.
Like style
Witcher
games
100
are
Nights.
different.
I'm sorry, you said
The Witch and the 100
one more
Nights
time?
comes out on the 25th. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I was looking forward to that, and just like all NIS games, their games have the most grindy trophy requirements for the plat in all the universe, and I've been able to get 2 of them, but each of them are about 150 hours plus, no matter what. And I think this one has something very similar. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. I just have to see if I have the time to really sink into it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Comes out on a weird day. There's too much coming out, but what were you saying, my guy?
Oh, I was just commenting about the whole trying to classify Ni no Kuni as a different JRPG. The only thing you could say is that's a JRPG where some of those other ones you're describing outside of maybe Dragon's Dogma are more Western RPGs, but you could argue Dragon's Dogma would be Capcom's attempt at a Western RPG.
Which is done. Here's the big shocking statement, right? Is in my mind so much more better than Skyrim. And so Capcom created a Western style RPG better than the pinnacle of Western style RPG developers. But
I give that crown to BioWare personally, but to each his own.
BioWare.
You said you're upset about the delay of The Witcher 3. You don't want them to ship another product that comes out looking like Thief again, though, do you?
Oh, so what now? One more time?
You don't want The Witcher 3 to come out looking like Thief, do you?
Oh.
I'm okay with
Here's
these
the thing.
delays. If they need time to polish things, I'm fine with that. I've never been...
Here's my thing. Yeah, whenever I'm disappointed about any type of delay, it's always because I'm a selfish bastard and I need to have it in my hands now, right? With Stephen Colbert, give it to me, whatever he says. However, I am happy, Fliptriq. I'm happy that they delayed it for the reasons that they felt they needed to make it a better game. I'm never going to make someone or expect someone to force something through. I'm just selfish, I want to play. I want to play The Witcher tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now I gotta wait a year.
Yeah. I've got too much on my plate. I don't have time for all that. So anytime I hear it delays, it's like a sense of relief. So I have more time to prepare for it. Then I've got like a list of announced games release dates that we're just gonna fly through. MLB The Show comes out on PS3 and Vita April 1st. PS4 on May 6th.
My guy.
Yeah. Are you gonna stack it? Are you gonna play both versions? Or are you gonna wait till the 6th?
If I get one of them, it'd be just the PS4 version. I wouldn't get the PS3 or the Vita version.
You're gonna be able to wait a month?
Because my hope would be that more rosters would be a little bit settled, so they'd have the more up-to-date rosters, and actually the game will actually say some of the players' names that might make the roster instead of just batter number 25 playing right field is up to bat.
So are you is my guy number 1 going to be playing and coming up to bat? Do you typically create yourself when you play this?
Basically, with a lot of the show games, they do the Road to the Show mode, which I've never really gotten into, and it's hard to build up the points for your creative character. Like I can go and take a like in the franchise mode, like an 18-year-old, I can DH players. At least they used to have this. I can DH players and up their stats. So I would take that with some career minor leaguers, DH them and rack up their stats and put them on my roster. So I would have a good young team, competitive, and lock them up for 10 years.
The GM, my guy, listen up there, major league teams. You got somebody that's a prodigy.
And
I like it, man.
Well, steroids are illegal. Steroids get you suspended.
Not
baseball.
Not in my locker room. Winning gets us championships. So, steroid it up.
Aside from MLB, we also have Counter Spy coming to PS4. It's already been announced for PS3 and Vita. I have no idea what this game is. I saw screenshots of it, and that was it. It looks weird. I don't know. But that's coming to PS4 now. Defense Grid 2 coming to PS4. It was announced for PC a while back, so that's coming also. I also don't know much about that. Costume Quest, this one I do know about. Costume Quest 2 comes out this year. Should be around Halloween. No date or console specification. Just around the Halloween season is what they said. But Costume Quest 2 follows the same characters as the first Costume Quest. If you haven't played the first Costume Quest, you need to go play the first one because it's fantastic. I would imagine this comes out on PS3 and PS4, probably Vita. I'd imagine this would be a triple platform title. Gone Home, another big one. A very, very highly rated game on PC. Came out mid last year or so. I'm thinking this one's going to come out on PS4, but no date, no console specification on that one either. Then we've got Destiny of Spirits for the Vita. It's a free-to-play RPG, which I've always felt.
Another one.
Yeah, I've always felt I have this unsettling feeling about free-to-play RPGs. But they had a beta a while back. I actually got invited to it and didn't end up playing it at all. So I wanted to. I just couldn't find the time when I got the invite to it.
Here's a question that you always find yourself asking before you go into a free-to-play RPG. I refuse to ask the question of myself with respect to Capcom's game deep down, but with this one, okay, is how much money do I have to pay to progress? You know, or do I have a path to progression without kicking out loot?
Right.
And that's the question. And as soon as I find that answer out, you know, that's going to be my determining factor of whether or not I'm going to pick it up and play it.
Yeah, me too. I don't like what they did with Secret of Mana on the iOS that came out, where you can't beat the game unless you start putting money into it. So hopefully this doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Sony's usually pretty good about it though, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, that comes out March 25th. Also on March 25th, we have another RPG called Pure Solar HD. It used to be an old Genesis game. I've never heard of it, but that comes out March 25th, PS3 and PS4. It looks very, very pretty. It looks like it'll be good. Once again, I've only seen screenshots. I know very little about the game. And Mercenary Kings comes out on April 1st for the PS4. It was announced it comes out like the 26th or 25th, something like that. It's probably the 25th because that's a Tuesday for the PC, and then April 1st on PS4. Looks like a side-scrolling 2D roguelike. Looks pretty cool. So pretty interesting. That's pretty much it though. Drive Club got delayed. I don't remember exactly why, but I do remember reading that got delayed. And I think I heard something about the Order 1886 getting delayed. I don't know for sure, but
I haven't seen anything about the Order, but like Drive Club, from one thing that they came out and said is that they're going back to the drawing board with it, so it's kind of a head scratcher there as far as what's going on with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really excited for it anyway, so that one doesn't really faze me at all. I'm not really into racing games.
And, you know, I was excited for it. I really looked forward to it. And but, you know, obviously, what they showed us at E3 and at the February conference release was bullshots. So, you know, they got to make it look right, man. I'm all for it. I thought that it was going to be the GT6 that we wasn't getting, and you know, it'll be unfortunate if we get the GT6 release on the PS4 by the end of this year, which I do think is going to happen with this other game, and then you'll have this overlap where you have the same populace having to make a decision between the both, and so I hope that doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure Sony will play it straight, or at least I hope they play it smart.
Yeah. Anyway, that wraps up everything for news. Let's get into what we've been playing this week. We've got a few releases that came out today, or this week. Dark Souls 2 is the big one. Altair, Escha, and Logi, Alchemist of the Dusk Skies, an RPG that came out on PS3. Digitally, we've got Vessel, the puzzler, which I want to check out. I just never got around to it, but it looks like Where's My Water, if you played that on the iOS or Android devices. And Putty Squad came out on PS3, PS4, and Vita, which is like a weird-looking platformer. So.
Your type of game, man. Come on.
No, this one's not. It's like, this is one of those games where you have really short levels and you have to perfect them to get the 3 stars to move on, and I don't like that. That's not what, I don't know. That's not the kind of platformer I'm interested in. That's a phone game. I don't think that even belongs on a console.
Huh.
Like Angry Birds, but I don't know why that's on the consoles either.
It's because...
Did you hear they're making Angry Birds into an RPG? It's called Angry Birds Epic.
Yeah.
That's that. I don't even know where to begin with that. I don't know what to expect.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is playing the Angry Birds trilogy for $35. That's not cool with me.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
But the RPG, maybe so. Maybe I can pick that up if it has real content.
It won't. It'll be free to play, and you'll have to put tons of money into it. Just like the kart racer that they released recently, which I actually played for a long time. I actually really like that one, oddly enough. My guy, what have you been playing lately? I know me and DMC are going to talk about Dark Souls 2 for about an hour and a half, so we'll let you take the floor first.
I may disappear during that time frame, but no, all I've really been doing is I just beat Tales of Symphonia, still kind of deciding whether or not I want to attempt the platinum on that. Started up on its sequel, Dawn of a New Age, and have just been... I'm only about 14% on the trophies. I've been meaning to go through and just kind of relook over the trophies and see what I would need to do in a second playthrough to try to knock everything out.
How long was that playthrough?
40 hours.
Whoa.
That's not bad.
And you're only 14% done with the list?
No, that's pretty darn good for an RPG, man.
Well, considering the fact that you've got to play the game.
But if you're looking for at a trophy chaser perspective, that's kind of intense.
One of the trophies, and it's a bronze, is to play the game for 100 hours. So, second playthrough, I know it probably would take me about 20 hours to do it, because I'd skip all the story stuff, and I would already kind of be playing with boosted characters, to say the least. It would just be a matter of going through and seeing what I need to get done and doing that. I've been working on Tomb Raider for PS3. Have 4 trophies left for that.
Wow.
2 multiplayer. Yeah, 2 multiplayer and 2 single player. And outside of that, I've been wrapped up in watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars this week, and been very close to hooking back up my Xbox to play Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, first of all, man, kudos to you, man. I applaud you for having to double dip back into Tomb Raider. I think I would have preferred to cut my fingernails off, man, to go back through that multiplayer. But awesome, man. That's a pretty decent stack. That's pretty.
It's not too bad with it, because it's like I was already at level 25 on the multiplayer when I've started, and now I'm up to mid 40s on it after just doing a little bit with Laminitsu over this past weekend. Okay. I got the went around and on all the ranked matches. I pulled that one out by myself, which I was kind of surprised I was able to do that, especially the free-for-all match. But that was the one I was worried the most about.
Awesome.
But from here on out, it's just a matter of how much do I want to hate myself with grinding those last several levels. But I've got a group that I think we're gonna go tomorrow night at 8 Eastern and get some grinding done on it. So
gotta do it, man. Gotta do it. You're so close. Awesome.
I might decide to stay so close, but yet so far away.
Nah, can't do it. Too close. You're too close to stay away.
It depends on if I'm going to need to do a third playthrough of the game or not for the single player trophy. So it's all going to kind of hinge on that.
For that conversations trophy, right?
I already got that.
Oh, well then you don't have to do a third gameplay.
Yeah, I may have to.
Why?
So
everything else
no
is
reason.
in the world.
Zipline trophy. Because it's if you don't get the zipline trophy, and I've got to save right at a spot where there's a lot of guys jumping on a zipline, and there's only one other spot that I'm aware of after you beat the game where people will jump on a zipline again. Outside of that, you'd have to play for that one.
Now you can farm it, man. There's the rare chance where you can actually farm that in whatever that dirty town, whatever that place is called. You just have to cycle through 3 or 4 different areas. Shantytown, there you go. Dirty town, it's dirty.
I haven't played the game since last January, so I don't know how I remember anything about it.
I think it's the mountain village. There's a spot where if guys are there, then a couple guys will jump on the zip line. But I've got it. I've got to save right at point in Shantytown where I can get probably like 6 or 7 kills off the zip line.
Well, then you're golden because there's other opportunities after that as well. And to just to make you, I'm excited for you because.
But that would make me have to replay about the Souls back half of the game.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You got to do it. You got to do it, Mike Guy. And you're so close. And if it makes you feel any better, I had to do a second playthrough on the PS4 version.
So did I.
And it's you did too, but it took us like 6 hours to go through it. So it's not a big investment.
That's because on the PS4 version, everything was out of the way from me on single player except Chatterbox, and I think the stab him in the knee with the arrow. So I've still got that one to finish up, knocking him off the zip line, but. That's easier to do than the zip line, because if you miss it on the zip line, you've got to go because there's only about 3 or 4 main places where guys are jumping on zip lines that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's including the 2 spots in Shantytown.
Hurrah! I have faith in you.
It all depends on where I end up at after this second playthrough, and I'll probably finish it up. But this was more of a distraction this week, and till Metal Gear, Final Fantasy HD, and Infamous come out, and that'll preoccupy my time.
I was looking through my trophy list while you guys were talking for Tomb Raider. I wanted to see if I had the zipline trophy you're talking about. I did get that one. I got really mad at the game. I played the first playthrough and followed, like I talked to every conversation, and I guess that trophy glitched on me, and I was really, really upset about that. That made me pretty angry, and I just gave up on it. I got most of the hard multiplayer trophies, like the one that you're talking about where you have to do the free-for-all and win. I got that one.
Yeah. I
got the zipline thing. I got most of the tombs done. There's just like one more that I have to do, and after that last conversation glitched on me, I was done. But I don't know, since it's on PlayStation Plus, I'm thinking about going back to it, so I don't know, I might eventually do that.
Hey, you need to jump on it while Mike Guy and those other guys are playing, primarily so you can do that grinding method.
I've got all this other stuff I'm trying to get through. I need to finish Infamous before next Friday. I've got 8 days to do it, and Dark Souls is taking up way too much of my time.
So here's the kicker. You're right. You're absolutely right. Finish Infamous 2, and then before Infamous 3 drops or Second Son drops, you have to tell us what your decision was at the end of Infamous 2. And then I don't know, I don't remember what your decision was, Mike Guy, but we can all talk about that on the next episode. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what you guys did.
I already know everything that happens.
Well, everybody, yeah, okay. So and I guess you kind of have to do both anyway.
Yeah.
But what was your preferred ending is the question, right? So
yeah, I haven't seen.
Well, for Second Son, it's taken off the good ending for canon. That's canon because they looked at the trophy data and what trophy people got first, and that's what they based Second Son off of.
Yeah, but I doubt very seriously that's their deciding factor. I think they made the game they wanted to make. Period.
That's what I'm doing. I'm playing Evil on my first playthrough on both games. Doing like a full run through all 3 games on Evil, and then going back and playing as a hero, just so the canon playthrough will carry over into Second Son. Because I'm looking to finish Infamous Second Son. I'm trying not to go too fast because I want to finish Infamous 2 Thursday just before Second Son comes out. That's my plan, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah. Still, and Mike, I don't know if we talked about this. We can talk about this next week as well. But I want to, after you finish Infamous 2, I need to hear from both of you which ones did you like better.
Okay.
We
that's pretty long talk about it. I'm very much looking forward to Second Son. They still haven't. I guess there's more than 2 powers that they've talked about. They said that there's a 3rd power that they haven't announced that they're not going to, and possibly a 4th. I think I read that there might be. They said this 3rd one is something that everybody uses every day on a day-to-day basis. It's mind-boggling when you find out what it is. It'll blow your mind. And nobody in any interview they've ever had has guessed what it was. So I have no idea what this is. My initial thought was water, but I thought that was too easy. I thought everybody would initially think water, because that would be really cool. So after that, I started thinking a little bit more, and now I'm thinking it's like sound, like sonar blasts and stuff. I think that might be it, because you use sound every day, and they could do a lot with that. But what do you guys think it is? Gotta get some predictions on the
might be
line.
Asphalt.
What?
Asphalt power. He can change into a road. I have no idea. Actually, I'm so looking forward to it. And I think they're going to be, I've heard as high as 4. I think there'll be more than that.
Yeah,
from a power perspective. Somebody let it.
You guys just froze.
Hours. We know that.
What?
Well, they've talked about that, so that hasn't really been a slip. They've talked about that skill.
They act like it's a slip, though. They act like it's surprising.
Stop. Hold on. You guys cut out when you were talking about whatever you're saying right now. They talked about what?
I mentioned that the developers made it slip that he has the ability to absorb powers, and so the inclination was always that there were going to be more than just his core powers, more than ice, more than fire, more than neon. But then you mentioned that it wasn't a slip, Mike Guy, that they mentioned it. I was just saying that they act like now, the way they're revealing all this new information, that it's new and that we didn't know about it. So I just thought that was a little funny.
Yeah, I think that's how he gets his different powers. I think that's his conduit powers, the ability to absorb, and then based on that, there's multiple different powers that he absorbs throughout the campaign. That's the way I took it when I read that statement. But anyway, I'm curious what you guys think it is. You have to come up with something, and then everybody watching, if you're watching this on YouTube or through the stream, let me know in the comment section what you guys think it is too. I'm very curious to see. I want one of us to get it right.
I'm gonna go with Heart, because DMC got me thinking Captain Planet when he said like Earth, Wind, Fire. So I'm gonna say Heart is the other. They're doing a tribute to Captain Planet in it, so that's the mystery power.
And let me tell you something. I'm gonna drop my PS4 controller on the floor if his hair it turns green. At any time during the campaign. So I can't believe you brought up Captain Planet.
I've thrown my controller for the first time multiple times this week. I've never done that before.
But you were playing the PS3. How could you drop the PS4 controller?
No,
Dark Souls will make you not only drop it. Yeah, it won't make you just drop the controller. It'll make you throw it.
Yep.
I've lost today. I lost 70,000 souls today.
That's ridiculous.
Stupidly.
There's a website that tracks all of that. How many souls people have lost, how many deaths there's been worldwide across all consoles. I think they're up to pretty close to 7 million right now, and the game's been out for 2 days. That first day there were 2 million deaths in the game, and then the third day they went up like another 3 million, which is insane. That's crazy.
Puts a new perspective.
Like 150 of those were mine. So
think about how when you walked through that door in the very beginning of the game, and you had those women sitting in the red, in their red hoods, and they start mocking you and laughing at you, really passive aggressive. How here's another one. Yeah, go out there if you come back. It's it makes you think like how many times have they seen the stranger walk through that door and just die and to your point, right? 7 million deaths, and the game just came out on Tuesday.
Yeah. Can I go on my Dark Souls 2 rant? I've got a lot to say on this, so there's a lot of things that I like and a lot of things that I don't like, and it's just going to turn this huge rant, and I feel like I need to get it off my chest. So, I don't know. We'll start with the things I do like. I like the fact... I love the combat. I think the combat's really, really well done. You can feel free to interrupt me whenever you want, because if not, I'll probably talk forever. But I think the combat's really well done. I like how it's not basic like most games. You press like square or circle or X to do a heavy attack or a medium attack. This game doesn't really tell you anything, but there's tons and tons of different abilities. Like I found out if you press like R2 and up on the joystick, you do like some forward lunging overhead strike. and based on like which buttons you're pressing and which direction you're facing and what you press on the joystick, it does different things. I think that's really cool. I wish there was some guidance there so I could know what abilities I have at my disposal, but I still think it's really well done. And I like how when you're in a closed corridor, you start to swing your sword, or you have like a long range weapon. Most games you press square, you attack, and it hits the enemy. This game, if your sword hits the wall, it like bounces off and you don't connect. I think that's really cool. I like that a lot. So I like the combat quite a bit. Everyone in the chat's talking about how mad I was getting during the during the stream. I had a few moments where I just got
I'm just impressed that you're still playing it.
I'm very determined. That you're still playing. Everybody wanted me to play it. I kept saying I wasn't going to. An hour before before the game got released, I caved. I gave in, ran and picked it up, and I wanted to stop a few times, but I keep going back to it. I'm determined to platinum this game. I'm going to do it, or whatever it takes. In the past 2 days, I put 20 hours into the game, and I am an hour and a half into the game, like progressively. I think if I were to start over, I could get to the exact same point I am in about an hour and a half, and I have put 20 hours into the game.
That's all right. Yeah.
I feel like it's been a waste of time, but some of it's been fun. But that gets me into the stuff that I don't like. I understand the game's hard, and they designed it to be hard, but I think they forced it to be hard. And there are 3 different reasons why I think that is. First, whenever you die, you lose all of your currency, your souls, which are used to upgrade your weapons and level up your character. You lose all of that. You have to go back to wherever you have to find where you died and pick up your body, and you get all that back. But if you die on the way to getting that body, that's lost forever, which I don't agree with. I don't really like that, because the enemies respawn at the same time. Like, if the enemies didn't respawn, I'd be okay with that previous issue that I just stated, because it's happened so many times where I die and I lose like 12,000 souls or whatever, and then I get ported back to the bonfire, and something stupid happens. I have that sense of urgency that I have to get back as fast as I can, and I'm rushing myself, and I'll make some stupid mistake at like the very first enemy that I come across and die there and lose everything. And then on top of that, each time you die you have less health. Like, each time you die you lose 5% health up to a maximum of 50%. So they make it harder each time, regardless of all of that other stuff. I think one of those 3 things needs to change. And
okay.
I don't.
So
instead of the health issue,
let me jump in.
If it was just like a durability issue, like if it reduced your armor value by 10%, like it does in like World of Warcraft, for example, and you had to use your souls to repair your armor, rather than take that health pool away, it would almost do the same thing, but it wouldn't be as extreme.
Yeah. So let me just jump in so you can continue to wrap 2 things. The mechanism, the whole lose your souls progressive mechanic, is a carryover from the original Demon Souls to the Dark Souls first, and then to the Dark Souls 2. And so for folks who have played this game from the beginning, it's an old concept, right? So it's really interesting to hear your take on it, because it's you're fresh into it, and I guess anyone into it from the beginning would just hate it. Who would make a stupid concept like that? But I can tell you, the rage and frustration in the universe, if they took that away, would be so big that they would almost alienate the majority of their fan base. Now, the new concept that you talked about, when you die and you go from being a human to a hollow, and then when you die progressively as a hollow, how it just kind of ticks down your maximum health level. That's to that's a brand new concept, and I bring that up because you talked earlier about the depth of the game. There are a lot of things in the game to help you. For example, there's a ring that exists that prevents that from happening as a hollow. So you can die 25 times as a hollow, and your health doesn't decrease.
Oh, I need this
and it's just out there. it's just out there, and you find it, and it's just so the depth with the game is so intrinsic and wonderful. And that's the reason why I think most of us love it, because of the discovery aspect of it. It's a game, even if you have the strategy guide, that you find yourself in complete awe with. But anyway, I digress, and I don't want to step in the lane of your rant. Continue, Fliptriq.
I think my biggest problem with that health issue is the fact that it's not something that you can constantly fix. Like, there's the item called the human effigy, which reverses that effect. So it takes your health pool from whatever it is, say it's 50%, lets you get back to 100% health. Those are pretty scarce. Those are hard to find. And you can buy them from a vendor, but they don't have very many. And occasionally you'll find them within the world, but I feel like that shouldn't... There's a point in this game where you're just going to run into a brick wall and there's nothing you can do. You'll have that 50% health pool, you'll have used all the human effigies, and you'll just be stuck. And I feel like that, I guess, point of no return shouldn't exist.
Yeah, see, and I disagree with you, because I don't think that ever would happen. And there's also a mechanic in the game, which I know that you don't like, is the ability to work with other folks. I mean, Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2 have the ability to summon folks to help you get past certain points, so you can progress through the game. And the entire game, the concept of the game was built around that concept. You summon people to help you. You can be invaded by people to as a detriment to stop you.
I think that's really cool too. I love the idea of the PvP, people jumping into your game that you aren't really expecting to happen, and then you have to find them, hunt them down before they hunt you, and have this little duel with them. Yeah, I think that's really cool. That's awesome. But that plus everything else is frustrating.
But let me say this to you. When you talk about the things that you don't like about the game, that's the one aspect that I do not like about the game. I love it when there's a PvP and it's fair. When the other person isn't lagging and you have a real battle and you win or you lose. That's awesome. But I got invaded today by someone, and he literally was 30 yards away from me, just chopping the crap out of me. And I'm just sitting here like, come on, man. And so I always message those guys. So I'm like, hey, listen, great match, but hey, improve your lag, So it'll be a glorious day when the consoles and PC folks find a way to stop that from happening, because it just ruins the entire experience for you.
Yeah. All that being said, I think it's a really good game. I enjoy it. When I finally, 20 hours later, killed the first boss, it had a very, very strong sense of accomplishment. I didn't summon anybody to help. I don't really like that idea. I'm going to try to get through it solo. At least that's what I want to do. Because I don't feel like... I feel like it makes the game too easy. Like, they're trying to make this game as hard as they can, but then they say, hey, we'll let you bring your friends and you can co-op through the game, which I think is going against everything else that they implemented in this. So it's kind of like contradictory with each other.
Oh, that's a real hard opinion, because they built all the games around that concept. And but to your point, you do have the ability to go through the entire thing without help. And you brought up a really good point earlier before the show, that the particular covenant that you belong to,
Covenant of Champions,
doesn't even allow you to summon. So I thought I didn't even realize that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep, that's the covenant I joined, and I'm going to stick with it.
For as long as you can.
Yep. So, hopefully, eventually, I'm not going to get this platinum anytime soon, but I'm learning the game. I'm getting the hang of it. I feel like if I would have started with Demon Souls or the first Dark Souls, I would have a little bit of advantage, but coming in fresh, not really understanding anything, not knowing the controls, not knowing what does what, not being familiar with any of the items, I feel put me at a pretty big setback.
Yeah, man, I think you're darn brave, Flip. And one of the biggest challenges for most folks entering into this game is realizing that, you know what, around every corner you got to tiptoe.
That's true. That's frustrating too.
You gotta somehow when there's 3 or 4 enemies, you have to draw one of them away to you, take them out, and take them one at a time, because God help you if 3 of them come, because you're dead. Even if they're grunts, even if they're the weakest characters around, unless you have some super god power, which you end up getting as you progress through the game, you get killed by the most weak opponents in this game, and it keeps you honest. Every fight is meaningful, no matter what, and that brings out that sense of accomplishment that you talked about. I remember when I first beat Demon Souls, I just felt like I climbed Mount Everest. It was the greatest feeling in my life from a gaming perspective. But yeah. So I think you hit the nail on the head with that. You felt great after beating the last giant.
Yeah. That's another thing that you just brought up. The fact that it's scary to progress, because you struggle at whatever point you've gotten to, and then you finally finish that, and then another situation is going to occur at any point. You don't know what to expect. So you're like, it's almost like a horror game where you're just slowly creeping along, hoping nothing bad happens, and then you find a treasure chest, you open it up, and it's a trap, and you die immediately, and then you get set back.
I know, right? Hey, man, it's not a bad thing, Flip.
It's not.
It's not a bad thing, Flip, to summon someone to help you get through a spot.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to beat the game without help.
Not even just to beat a particular level, but just to have somebody walk down that corridor with you and around the corner. I mean, that kind of stuff is I think the only comfort that the game gives you, no matter what.
Yeah. I think the thing I like the most about the game is after you finish the game, you can go to New Game Plus, and it gets harder. And I heard there's 7 or 8 different stacks of that. Yeah,
there's it goes up, I think 7 times or 8 times, and then after that it caps off. Yeah, so there's a 15%. Is that what it is? 15% each New Game Plus.
I don't know. But I think that's really cool. I heard that it's not just a small layer of difficulty. It's not just the enemies have more health and deal more damage. They actually take the boss fights and they add to the boss fights. The very first boss, I guess, has 2 little minions that you have to fight at the same time in New Game Plus. I think that's really cool. It reminds me of my old WoW days, going through the raids and engaging hard modes and struggling through that. I think that's really cool. So there's a ton of things that I like about the game. It's just trying to get through the stuff that I don't like and learn the game. But that's it. That's the end of my rant.
That's a great rant, man, and I think you're speaking for about the other 750,000 people that bought it on day one.
Yeah, I've never had a game that I couldn't beat, and this is the first time I've ever had that experience. So I'm determined to beat this game.
Well, just know that you're beating it initially in the most unorthodox way and probably unrecommended way. Period. And I think what you're doing or what you're attempting to do is something that even the most savvy of veterans to Dark Souls wouldn't do on the initial playthrough. Now, for New Game Plus, I'm with you 100%. Pick the Covenant of Champions, go for it. But man, more power to you.
I'll get through it. It's gonna be a slow run, but I'll finally do it. You said I couldn't kill that first boss by myself, and I did. Took me a few tries, but I finally did.
You did, man. Perseverance, right?
Finally. No, it's the second guy that I'm worried with.
Yeah, well, the worlds get so. I mean, the game is so big. I don't know how I can describe it. I think I'm probably about 15 to 20% through the game. I probably killed maybe 8 different bosses, and the worlds that I'm exploring now is just humongous, and it just makes me. It's just awe-inspiring how much they put into this game and how many little things you find, and it's. I cannot wait for this thing to come to the PS4 in this next iteration. It's just such a wonderful game. Not this one, but I mean the next version of the Dark Souls 3, whatever it is. It's just wonderful game.
I really want to go back and start over with Demon Souls, because I have that. I got that on PlayStation Plus a long time ago. Never booted it up. But I think if I go back to their origin point and work my way up, that I'd have an easier time. But I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing that, because that's a pretty big time investment. So I want to.
It is a humongous time investment. I even tried to go back. I didn't get the platinum in Demon Souls. I got the platinum in Dark Souls 1. It is a big time investment. Each game is very much within the same family. They're all cut from the same cloth, different stories. But Demon Souls is by far the hardest of all of them. And then they made it a little bit easier, but
from everything I've heard, they say Dark Souls 2 is the hardest one. From the people who that I've watched on live streams this is all they play is Dark Souls and Demon Souls. They've all said that this game is by far the hardest.
Dark Souls 2 is by far the hardest,
yes, they said it was Dark Souls is the easiest, then Demon Souls, and then Dark Souls 2. So I guess maybe you just haven't gotten to the points where it's ridiculously insanely hard. I don't know. Well, actually, that's kind of where I was going to go, right? Demon Souls is by far the hardest. They made things more simple with Dark Souls, and then initially I thought Dark Souls 2 was just way too easy. But I got to a point. I spent most of today when I did play trying to get past this one part where there's 3 different bosses, and it was just uber hard. And I had 2 people helping me try to fight them, and I literally died maybe 15 times trying to get past this one boss with 2 people helping me. And I ended up just sitting back and just helping other people. And I eventually found a strategy that worked for me, the armor gear, the right shield, the right method, by helping other folks. And then I went back to my gameplay to try to fight on my own. And after about the 4th time, I finally beat him. But the difficulty spike, or the progressive spike up that's happening in the game is impressive. And one of the things that the game does, and I think it expresses this to you in the strategy guide, if you guys out there have it, I don't think that's cheating, but it does progressively gets harder as you go through the game, and you just can't go to these areas on your own. You're just going to die a pitiless death. But anyway, yeah, so to your point, the people that you've been looking at, Fliptriq, I do agree with them. Dark Souls 1 easiest, then Demons, and then Dark Souls 2. And I'm not even halfway through the game yet. Yeah. How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. I think we're done. I think we're done talking about Dark Souls 2. I think I'm going to have to take a break from it for a few days and go back. I'm probably going to start a new character because I feel like I've lost a lot of souls and stuff along the way. I feel what?
I'm going to say one thing, guys. You know, I was playing the game. So far, I've been playing the game for like 25 hours, right? And so for about 15 of those hours, I've been looking at my character. My character had this helmet on, so I never really looked at the face. And I built the guy to look like me. And I noticed that my character just had these massive pecs. And I kept on looking at myself like, do I have breasts? Did I actually make myself into a girl? And I just kept on looking at other people come up. They have the same outfit that I have on, and they have they all muscular. And I'm looking at me, and I got pecs. I got these pecs that look like breasts. And then I finally played with a lady, and she had the same size breast that I did. And I said, you know what? What the hell is going on? So I started looking, and I took off my mask, and I didn't look like me. I looked like a woman. And I said, what the hell is going on? So I started Googling, and it turns out that, when you enter the game, there's a coffin. And after you beat these 2 trolls, and the coffin in Dark Souls 1 was associated with a particular covenant, the covenant of death or whatever. So I said, here's my first covenant. Let me go ahead and join up with them. Maybe I'll get some awesome perks. Well, it turns out there is no covenant. It's just a sex change coffin. And I changed myself into a girl, so I had to go back, get back in the coffin, and I was back to my old self again. I felt like a Wonder Twin. Anyway, that was my little story, so hopefully that helped somebody else. There you go.
It took me a while to figure out what was going on with that coffin. I jumped in there, and I didn't know what it was. It just faded to black and came back, and tried it a few times and nothing happened. I thought something was glitching or something. Then I realized what was going on. So, yeah. All right.
Well, in addition to Dark Souls, I've also jumped on. I tried to preempt my this trophy grind for Dark Souls, and I've been playing Rise of the Guardians.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing you play that. How is that?
Yeah, it's another one of those 6 to 7 hour platinum games. But except it's very tedious from a grinding perspective, if you can imagine. But very well done. And another one of those games that do what it intended to do very, very well. Mm-hmm. And so I don't knock it for that. Yeah, man, that's so I'm probably about 2 hours away from the platinum. Another game that has 50 trophies, in the platinum. So pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing Flip's comments on that wonderful game, Toy Story Mania, and then after that, Mike Guy, if you're so inclined, maybe we can get your thoughts on it as well. We can just let it float around the corner. But yeah, this might be in the rotation as well. Very good game, guys. Whoever wants to play it 6 to 7 hours, it's pretty much a 4-player co-op, or you can play it single player, and the 3 others are controlled by the computer, and you just progress through the actual movie. And you
let me ask you: is it Rise of the Guardians? Is it the one with the
Owls?
holiday characters? Or the owls?
That's what I was thinking of. I was trying to remember what the one with the holiday characters was.
This is the one with the fake with Bunny Rabbit for Easter, the fake Santa Claus guy, Tooth Fairy.
Okay.
It's not the Guardians of Gahoo or whatever it is.
Yeah. And so basically, Pitch is like the father of nightmares, and he doesn't believe in any of these things that we all celebrate here in America. And so he's changing, or he's capturing all the children, causing them to unbelieve, and these fade characters are starting to fade away, so they have to defeat Pitch's minions in order for them to still be relevant in the world. And so the game progresses exactly the way the movie does, and you just go around and you just hit, and you level up along the way, and the game gets progressively easier. It's hardest in the beginning, gets incredibly easy towards the end, and it's fun. It's just not as fun as Toy Story Mania. which by far is the most fun game I played in the year 2014.
Yeah. I completely overlooked this when I was setting up for the show, but the trophy stats. So I'm trying to do this a different way, but we'll get into that since we haven't talked about it. I'll start with you, DMC, because I have your stuff right here. So, last week. This is always my favorite part of the show, so I don't know how I keep forgetting it. Alright, last week you're sitting at 3,984 trophies, 62 platinums, level 22, 31%. Right now you are... I said I have to do this different. It's going to be hard to read, but... Level 22, 36%, 4,000. You broke the 4K? Nice. How you feel about that? Where's the 4,000th trophy? That's a big milestone. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I gotta find out which one that was, man. Onward to 5,000.
Yeah. So no platinums, no new platinums, but what is that? An increase by 16 plus 9, 25 trophies. Pretty slow week for you too. My week is very slow as well.
This week is going to be horrible, guys. It's going to be 100% Dark Souls, and I'm probably just going to be dormant for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Me too. I think the last couple weeks I got pretty close to 100 trophies each week. This week's not even close to that. I don't know. Mike, I can't find you on the PSN anywhere. Have you logged in?
I'm on.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will.
Are you looking at PS3 or PS4?
PS3.
It does that funky thing where it doesn't always show up.
Yeah, it's doing that. So I guess we'll jump to me next then. So last week I was sitting at 51% level 22. 51 platinums, 3,960 trophies. This week, 3,991. I need to move this up so I can compare it. What is that? Not very many. 31 trophies. So, not a huge increase. 7% increase in level. No new platinums. Still haven't gotten the 4,000th trophy. I was wanting the 4,000th trophy to be my infamous platinum, but I didn't catch that quick enough. So that's not going to happen. So that was kind of a letdown. Here, Mike, you can just narrate it. You can tell us what's going on. Last week you had level 17, 19%, 14 platinums. How many trophies do you have right now?
Right now, the total number is still level 17, 38%, 2834 total. Still 14 platinums, 99 gold, 456.
It's almost 100 trophies.
Yeah.
Nice. And I
almost
think you said
100.
You said, what was it, like 2830?
2834.
Yeah, you were at 2760, so like 70-ish.
Wow. I didn't think I got that many.
All those Tomb Raider trophies, I guess. So.
Good. Doubled up on my completion percentage on Tomb Raider
So no platinums
over the
for anybody
weekend.
this week.
No, I'm gonna have that awesome Rise of the Guardians sometime this weekend, but I think I might be in a platinum dormant over the next 2 weeks because of this crazy game, Dark Souls 2.
And then you have Metal Gear Solid, the game you're definitely going to play next week, and doesn't even have a platinum.
Yep.
So.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yep. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Oh, Little Deviants. I'm very angry that you made me play that game. That is terrible. Oh my god. Why is that on my list now?
My rant wasn't all for that. I'm so glad that somebody else jumped into it. Now, Mike Guy, you're the only one. You have to play it so you can give us your opinion. But go ahead, please, Flip. Give us your take.
I don't have anything different to say that you haven't said last week. It's way harder than it needs to be. It's masked by a kid's game, and it's just overly difficult. Too strict in terms of timers through different objectives. The levels are way too long.
Yes.
And
too many. 30 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 levels divided into 10 stages each, so really like 300 levels. Yeah. Kind of ridiculous. I think that's the only other thing I played. So.
All right, you're up next, Mike Guy. Little Deviants. You're going to be the one that's going to love it.
Ain't going to happen.
Come on, man. You got to experience those things, man. They make our hair on the back get straighter.
With I've still got a Tales game I've got to finish. I've got a load of Vita games I got to work on. Then I've got 3 games next week. 4 if you count the fact that Final Fantasy X is 2 games. So
play that, but I'm not gonna have time.
So as of right now, my video game dance card's full with things I want to play.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Just add Little Deviants to the Vita to your Vita list, and you should be fine.
I can still tell you that it's not going to happen.
All right. Well, that wraps up episode 8 of the Trophy Chasers podcast. Feel free to call in if you guys are interested in chatting with us. I'd love to hear what you guys think the infamous power is going to be. It'd be pretty cool if somebody calls in and gets it right. So, but if there's anything else you guys would like to talk about, we'll open up to open gaming talk for anything. You could always follow, if you're new to the show, if you're watching on YouTube, you could always head over to twitch.tv/Fliptriq. We record live every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Every Thursday night. If you miss it live, it's put up on YouTube, and soon it'll be on iTunes and other downloadable platforms. I don't know what else there is. I don't know what the Android one calls it. I think it's the Play Store or something like that. I don't know.
That's right.
Something like that. So it'll be everywhere very soon. We're still working on that. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like, at Fliptriq. I usually tweet every time I go live. I live stream pretty regularly. And it'll also be announcements for the podcast. Do you guys have Twitter?
Yeah.
Yep. I do.
Would you like to plug your Twitter?
Well, mine's is what is my Twitter? Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, you guys don't use it enough to worry about it then.
Mine's at MikeGuy2421, same as my PSN name. If you want to follow me, go right ahead. I promise you I will not tweet anything because I don't really use it.
Well, I tweet all the time. I get Suhei to respond to me sometimes from Sony. That's my claim to fame, but it's DMC_123. So very similar.
Yep.
I got in my lifetime, how many tweets do I have? Quite a number. 70. Not much at all. I thought I did.
Button.
Huh?
A PF Blackhawk wants to know where's the donate button.
All right. It looks like we, once again, don't have... The phones aren't ringing off the hook. We had a couple good weeks, but... also, you can submit questions. That's why I brought up the Twitter. You can submit questions through Twitter if at any time during the week. If you think of something you'd like to ask us, feel free to do that at any point in time. But yeah,
Awesome.
that wraps up this week's show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be talking pretty extensively on Metal Gear Solid and getting ready for Second Son. So next will be Infamous talk and whatever.
I can't wait. And Cody is dropping. Cody on the chat is dropping giant spoiler bombs. Awesome. I will not say that out loud.
I don't even want to look over there now. What game is it referring to?
Second Son, man. The secret extra power.
All right. Well, I don't want to know what it is. It hasn't been confirmed. So how could he be spoiling it?
He's going to the ultimate site for all things leak, NeoGaf. So
I don't know. I remember when The Last of Us came out, everybody was talking about spoilers. There's tons of spoilers all over the place, and then I stayed away from all of them, played the game, went back and read through the spoilers, and none of them were true. There's a couple that are like kind of true, but not really. It was just people like trying to spoil things just to get a rise. The trolls. The trolls.
Trolls are bannable on NeoGaf, so they tend to be more reliable with respect to their official spoilers, but I don't know if this was official. Cody, I don't know if someone officially came out and says here's what it is, or if this is just somebody to Flip's point that's just getting a rise, speculating.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Oh.
Anyway, thank you all for watching. We will see you back next week.
Party people. Yep.